Hello all, Alicia from Wild Moon Sacred Cycles here. So I'm making this video today to talk about my menstrual cycle a little bit. I've brought out some goodies, which you can't quite see, the things that I have on hand every single month to help alleviate premenstrual and menstrual symptoms such as cramps, which is something that I get quite intensely, though since I started tracking my cycle and learned about some amazing natural ways of lessening that. I try to use the word lessen over deal with because I don't like to make my menstrual cycle sound like a problem or something that I have to deal with. It is something that I work with, and I'm actually really grateful for it this month because I've been working really, really hard all through my pre-bleed. I actually worked really hard as well for about 12 hours a day, and then my menstrual cycle completely knocked me out yesterday, and I stayed in bed all day, which I really, really needed, and actually felt really, really good and productive in its own way. So sometimes rest is the most productive thing that we can do. So I'm on the white moon cycle because I am bleeding nearest to the new moon, which makes a lot of sense for me because recently my priorities switched from traveling and business and being free and all that to creating a home with my partner, which is the first time that I've ever actually created a home with a partner before. And that is why my menstrual cycle changed from bleeding with the full moon, which would be the red moon cycle, to the white moon cycle, which is bleeding near and closest to the new moon. Okay, so a few things that I use. I'm just gonna, I'll get right into it. So this is not the natural cuppa. I reuse a lot of whatever glass containers I can. So this is red raspberry leaf herb. So this is used to alleviate a lot of different symptoms of the menstrual cycle. Basically just helps everything flow more nicely in the womb, which can help with cramps and hormones in general. The next one that I have here, so I make a tea out of this, and sometimes I'll just make a big pot with a bunch of different stuff, this included. So this next one is the infamous cramp bark. So it literally looks like bark, and it doesn't taste or smell amazing, but it works. It works for cramps, which is why it is called cramp bark. So it works for anti-inflammation and also calming down the spasmodic nature of cramps. So I put those two together, and a lot of the time I will add hibiscus, which is one of my favorites, which isn't really known for something that helps with menstruation, but I like to think that it does because hibiscus is mild hallucinogen, very, very mild. So it really helps me with dreaming. So if I want to sleep a little bit more or stay asleep or really experience my dreams, which is when you're bleeding is the best time to do that because you're going to receive the most messages and also the most healing throughout your body. So I use my red raspberry leaf, my cramp bark. I also put some hibiscus in there, and then also lavender, which brings me to my next suggestion, which is a lavender essential oil. And no, I am not selling essential oils. So this is organic. I try to get organic in any time that I can, in any form that I can. So the lavender, I use this more for the reactions that I have before and during my bleed, and sometimes after as well. I do get very exhausted, and sometimes I do experience some sadness after my bleed as well. So I keep my lavender close all month long, but especially in, let's say I start having my pre-bleed symptoms probably about 5 days before I bleed, and then I bleed for about 5 days, and then for about 5 days after that, sometimes I can experience sadness from the hormone overhaul that happens in that time. So I like to, if you, actually, that's funny because I did have a Instagram post recently where you'll see me going, and that's something that I actually do. Oh, it's so good. because it really relieves my anxiety. It kind of resets my hormonal system instantly. It calms my brain down, everything that's going on for me emotionally, which experiencing my emotions is not a bad thing, although sometimes I can get a little bit carried away. And there's certain situations where I don't want to, be crying in front of my boss or in front of strangers. So that is when I use lavender. A lot of the time I'll put a few drops on my hands, I'll rub it around, I'll open up my eyes really wide so that the fume of it can get into my tear glands, and then I do some big huffs like that. So lavender, I use that. The next one that I use, and is a lifesaver, and I actually need to apply right after this video, is peppermint oil. So the peppermint oil, I apply it to my lower stomach and all over my womb space. And it is fantastic. It's cool, it's heating, it really calms down everything that's going on down there, and just is very, very soothing and works within a couple of minutes, and has been an absolute lifesaver for me. And it was actually an amazing previous partner of mine that introduced me to that. He would rub it on my back when I was experiencing cramps. I'm very grateful for that and for him. The last thing that I wanted to show you today was arnica cream, which I'm not sure if a lot of you have heard of this. I'm pretty sure this is, it's homeopathic, and it is really, really great. It's kind of used as a first aid cream, but it's also used for pain, for anti-inflammation and pain relief. So I also put this often mixed in with my peppermint all over my womb space, and it really just calms everything down, anti-inflammation, like I said. Yeah, so those are the things that I use together. So I would love to start some conversation below. What are the things that you use? There's every woman always has a little secret. I would love to hear yours. At some point, I do want to collect everyone's ideas and give it away as a free PDF. Mostly sticking to natural. I do use ibuprofen every now and then if I have a big weekend ahead of me, or if it's not possible for me to slow down in the time that I am experiencing cramps, pre-bleed, and menstrual symptoms. So yeah, let's hear what are your secrets? What are your tips? What are your tricks for lessening, not dealing, for lessening some of the symptoms of your menstrual, premenstrual, and menstrual time? I would love to hear those, so please comment below. Thanks a lot. See you later.